Baishatun Mazu pilgrimage draws 320,000 with lightning pace. Lady Nainai returns to face fraud charges. Taipei property tax system faces errors, 50,000 bills to be corrected. Court puts South Korea presidential frontrunner's run in doubt. Former Hong Kong lawmakers freed after years in prison. China and the Philippines clash in the South China Sea. Wildfires rage, shutting down major highway in Israel. Why men are shaving off their eyelashes.
Hello everyone, I'm Oceana. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Tuesday, May 2nd, World Tuna Day, and here are your top stories. In local news, over 320,000 joined the Baishatun Mazu pilgrimage as the pink supercar palanquin covered 26 kilometers overnight in just 6 hours. The fast pace amazed many, with some saying even military marches weren't this intense. The procession stretched over 3.5 kilometers, showing the passion and unity of the faithful. The goal is to reach Beigang in 36 hours. Taiwanese socialite Lady Nainai returned from Canada to face 180 million NTD fraud charges. Escorted by justice officials, she arrived in Taipei and was handed over to prosecutors, remaining silent throughout. Once a prominent figure in Taiwan's beauty industry, she fled to Toronto after her clinic's collapse. Authorities coordinated with Canadian counterparts to bring her back. Taipei City's property tax system error affected 50,000 bills, applying both owner-occupied and non-owner-occupied rates. The tax office is reissuing corrected bills, offering refunds and extensions for those who have already paid. The issue occurred during the implementation of the new Tax 2.0 policy. And in global news, South Korea's Supreme Court has overturned a ruling that had cleared election frontrunner Lee Jae-myung of violating election law, casting doubt on his eligibility to run for president. Lee, candidate of the Liberal Democratic Party that controls parliament, is leading polls in a snap election triggered by the ouster of conservative former President Yoon Suk-yeol over his imposition of martial law. In March, an appeals court had cleared Lee, but prosecutors appealed to the Supreme Court.
The election law violation case against Lee had been closely watched, as a ruling that removes him from the ballot could further deepen divisions in society after months of political turmoil that has hampered efforts to steer Asia's fourth-largest economy through the choppy waters of U.S. tariffs. Lee is embroiled in several criminal trials, but the election law case was in the spotlight because, if the Supreme Court overturned his not guilty verdict and it is finalized, he would be barred from contesting elections for at least 5 years. The Supreme Court said that Lee violated election law by publicly stating false facts and ruled to send the case back to the appeals court.
4 former Hong Kong lawmakers were freed from prison on Tuesday after serving more than 4 years of their convictions under a Beijing-imposed security law that crushed a once-thriving pro-democracy movement. They were among 47 activists arrested in 2021 for their roles in an unofficial primary election. They were the first of the convicted activists to reunite with their families and friends after years of separation. Only vehicles involved in the release were seen leaving the 3 prisons in remote areas of Hong Kong.
Claudia Mo, Gary Fan, Jeremy Tam, and Kwok Ka-ki each served 4 years and 2 months on charges of conspiracy to commit subversion under national security legislation. The remaining activists received prison terms ranging up to 10 years. Only 2 of the 47 original defendants were acquitted. During the trial, prosecutors said the activists aimed to paralyze Hong Kong's government and force the city's leader to resign by winning a legislative majority and using it to block government budgets indiscriminately. The judges said in their verdict last year that the activists' plans to effect change through the unofficial primary would have undermined the government's authority and created a constitutional crisis.
China says 6 Filipinos landed on a tiny outcropping that both countries claim in the South China Sea, days after photos emerged of Chinese Coast Guard officers displaying a Chinese flag on the same group of sandbars. The back and forth over Sandy Cay is the latest flare-up in a long-running dispute between the two countries over territory in the South China Sea, which China claims almost in its entirety. Videos show members of the Philippine Coast Guard, Navy, and police holding the national flag as they visit Sandy Cay.
China's rights protection and law enforcement activities there are conducted in accordance with the law, aimed at countering the Philippines' illegal landings and other acts of infringement and provocation, firmly safeguarding national territorial sovereignty, ensuring that the reef remains uninhabited and without facilities.
A Chinese Coast Guard statement described the Philippine landing on Sunday as illegal and said Chinese officers had gone ashore to conduct on-site verification and enforcement measures. A Philippine statement said a joint Coast Guard, Navy, and Maritime Police team had landed on the 3 sandbars that make up Sandy Cay, known as Tieshan Reef in Chinese. The move came 3 days after Chinese officers were seen on Tieshan Reef in mid-April, holding up a Chinese flag and cleaning up plastic bottles and other debris. The Chinese statement reiterated that China holds indisputable sovereignty over the Spratly Islands, including Tieshan Reef and surrounding waters.
Several countries were sending firefighting aircraft to Israel on Thursday as crews battled for a second day to extinguish a wildfire that had shut down a major highway linking Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and sent drivers scrambling from their cars. The fire broke out around midday Wednesday, fueled by hot, dry conditions and fanned by strong winds that quickly whipped up the flames, burning through a pine forest. Several communities were evacuated as a precaution as the smoke turned the skies over Jerusalem gray.
Israel's fire and rescue services warned the public to stay away from parks and forests, and to be exceptionally careful when lighting barbecues. Thursday is Israel's Independence Day, typically marked with large family cookouts in parks and forests. Megan David Adam Ambulance Services said at least 12 people were treated in hospitals on Wednesday, mainly for smoke inhalation, while another 10 were treated in the field. Italy, Croatia, Spain, France, and Romania were sending planes to help battle the flames, while several other countries, including North Macedonia and Cyprus, were also sending water-dropping aircraft.
From stopping dust and dirt from getting into the eyes to prompting our blink reflex, eyelashes do more than just look pretty. This makes it hard to explain the social media trend of men trimming down or entirely shaving off their eyelashes in a bid to look more masculine. Videos posted on social media in recent weeks show men braving blades very close to their eyes in barbershops from Turkey to New Zealand in a quest for stubby lashes. Some barbers use electric clippers, while others rely on hairdressing scissors and hopefully a steady hand.
Vicky Lee, a consultant ophthalmic and oculoplastic surgeon at Imperial College London, said, "Eyelashes are vital for both visual experience and eye health, as well as acting as a barrier and a trigger for the protective blink reflex. Eyelashes help reduce airflow over the eyes, maintaining moisture, keeping the eyes healthy and comfortable, filtering intense sunlight, reducing glare, and improving visual quality." While Lee said eyelashes follow a natural growth cycle, shedding and regrowing over time, she added that there are many reasons why removing them, as seen in the methods on social media, is a bad idea, not to mention the risk of potential injury to the eye.
The answer for April 30th was A, coordinate. The event planner had to coordinate with several departments to make sure everything went smoothly. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. China and the Philippines clash in the South China Sea. Number 1, flare-up, 爆发,突发情况. The argument between the two colleagues turned into a flare-up with both raising their voices. Number 2, entirety, 整体,全部. The project was evaluated in its entirety, considering all aspects of the work. Number 3, enforcement, 执行,强制执行. The enforcement of the new law started last week, and violators are being fined. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section, and the correct answer will be announced next week. World Tuna Day raises awareness about the vital role of tuna fish, as well as the risk this species is in due to population declines, poor conservation management, and high levels of illegal or unregulated tuna fishing. It highlights the importance of fish stocks that are sustainably managed, with an eye toward the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm your host, Oceana, and I'll see you next time.